In a small village surrounded by vast savannas, lived a woman named Amina. For 12 long years, her house echoed with silence, her heart aching for the sound of a child's laughter. Every night, she knelt under the twinkling stars, whispering prayers that carried the weight of her deepest longing, the gift of motherhood. The villagers often spoke of her resilience, though many cast pitying glances her way. She bore it all silently, her hope steadfast. One fateful day, news swept through the village. An orphanage in a nearby town was seeking families to adopt. Amina's heart stirred with hope. That evening, she sat with her husband, Baba Kofi, and shared her thoughts. "Kofi," she began, her voice trembling, "what if this is the answer to our prayers?" Baba Kofi hesitated. He was a practical man, cautious of societal judgments. "Are you sure, Amina? Adopting a child is not the same as bearing one." "A child is a child," Amina replied, her determination evident. "This may be our only chance." Moved by her conviction, Baba Kofi agreed. Together, they journeyed to the orphanage. Amidst the cries and laughter of children, a baby girl caught their attention. Wrapped in a faded blanket, her face bore marks of a skin condition, and her crooked nose gave her an unconventional appearance. But her eyes sparkled with an intelligence that seemed beyond her age. When Amina cradled her, a profound sense of belonging washed over her. "We will name her Zawadi," she declared, her voice steady with love. "She is our gift." Just a few months after bringing Zawadi home, Amina began to feel unwell. Initially dismissing it as fatigue from adjusting to life with a newborn, she eventually sought the counsel of the village healer. The news was astonishing. She was pregnant. Joy erupted in their household. Neighbors gathered, singing celebratory songs and presenting gifts for the unborn child. Amina's prayers had been answered in ways she hadn't dared to dream. As her belly grew, so did the household's neglect of Zawadi. At first, it was unintentional, a missed feeding, a forgotten lullaby. But as excitement over the new baby consumed Amina and Baba Kofi, Zawadi was left to fend for herself. By the time she was crawling, she often played alone, her small hands stacking pebbles into intricate towers or mimicking the songs of birds in the trees. Even as a toddler, Zawadi's sharp mind found ways to keep her entertained. The day finally came when Amina gave birth to a son, whom they named Jabari. He was a robust baby with bright eyes and a hearty laugh. The villagers called him the Chosen One, a child born after years of barrenness. The household's attention shifted entirely to Jabari. Zawadi, barely 2 years old, watched from a corner as her mother sang lullabies to her brother, songs she herself had once heard. As the years passed, Zawadi grew up in Jabari's shadow. While Jabari was showered with gifts and adoration, Zawadi was often tasked with chores far beyond her age. Yet, she never complained. Instead, she found solace in learning. She would linger outside the village teacher's hut, absorbing lessons meant for older children. Her intelligence shone brightly, but her family remained oblivious. By the time Zawadi turned 10, her reputation as the brightest mind in the village had spread. She could solve complex puzzles and recite entire stories after hearing them only once. Mr. Okello, the village teacher, took her under his wing, providing her with books and additional lessons. "You are destined for greatness, Zawadi," he often said. Meanwhile, Jabari grew into a mischievous boy, indulged and shielded from discipline. Amina excused his antics with a dismissive, "He's just a boy." Zawadi's achievements were met with indifference. Yet, she remained kind-hearted, helping her mother without being asked and ensuring Jabari stayed out of trouble. One day, Zawadi overheard her parents talking. "Do you think we made a mistake adopting her?" Amina's voice was heavy with guilt. Baba Kofi sighed. "She is a good girl, Amina. But perhaps we haven't given her the love she deserves." Those words stung Zawadi deeply, yet she resolved to prove her worth. She poured herself into her studies and began tutoring other children in the village. Slowly, the villagers started seeing her as more than just the adopted child. She was becoming their star. When Zawadi was 12, the elders announced a village-wide competition. The prize: a scholarship to a prestigious school in the city. Zawadi's heart raced with excitement. This was her chance to prove herself. However, Jabari, now 10, also entered the competition, spurred on by Mama Amina's encouragement. "You carry our name," she told him. "You must bring us honor." Zawadi prepared tirelessly, studying late into the night by the dim light of an oil lamp. Mr. Okello coached her with unwavering belief in her abilities. Jabari, in contrast, spent his days boasting to his friends, confident that his mother's faith alone would secure his victory. The competition day arrived, drawing a large crowd to the village square. Participants were tested on mathematics, storytelling, problem-solving, and cultural knowledge. Zawadi's calm demeanor and quick thinking impressed the judges, while Jabari struggled to keep up. When the results were announced, Zawadi emerged as the winner. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Mama Amina's face betrayed her disappointment. Jabari sulked, refusing to congratulate his sister. With the scholarship secured, Zawadi prepared to leave for the city. The villagers threw her a grand farewell, showering her with gifts and blessings. Mama Amina handed Zawadi a small bundle, the same faded blanket she had been wrapped in as a baby. "I hope this reminds you of where you come from," she said, her voice devoid of warmth. Holding back tears, Zawadi hugged her father and waved to Jabari, who turned away. As the cart carried her toward the city, Zawadi promised herself she would return one day, not just as a scholar, but as someone worthy of her family's love. The city was a whirlwind of activity. Tall buildings towered over the bustling streets, and the air buzzed with energy. At the prestigious academy, Zawadi felt both awe and trepidation. The sight of children from diverse tribes, speaking languages she had never heard, was intimidating. Yet, she refused to let her rural background hold her back. Zawadi's intelligence quickly earned her the respect of her teachers. She discovered a love for science, often staying late in the laboratory to conduct experiments. Despite her success, she kept the faded blanket tucked away in her dormitory trunk, a constant reminder of her roots. At the academy, Zawadi befriended Aching, a cheerful girl with an infectious laugh. Aching admired Zawadi's determination and became her closest friend. Together, they navigated the challenges of academic life, from grueling exams to fierce debates. One evening, as they sat under a baobab tree on campus, Aching asked, "Why do you push yourself so hard?" Zawadi hesitated. "I want to make my family proud. To show them I'm worth loving." Aching placed a hand on her shoulder. "You don't need to prove your worth to anyone, Zawadi. You're already remarkable." Those words stayed with Zawadi, planting seeds of self-acceptance. With Aching's support, she began to embrace her journey, realizing her value wasn't defined by others' approval. After excelling at the academy, Zawadi earned a scholarship to study agricultural engineering abroad. Leaving behind the bustling city and her beloved friend Aching, she boarded a plane for the first time, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. The foreign land greeted her with cold winters, towering skyscrapers, and an unfamiliar culture. At her new university, Zawadi faced challenges that tested her resilience. She struggled to adapt to the language barrier and the fast-paced lifestyle. Her peers underestimated her, assuming that her rural background would hinder her success. But Zawadi's determination only grew stronger. She immersed herself in her studies, often working late into the night in the library. Despite the hardships, Zawadi found small pockets of joy. She joined a community of international students, where she met people who appreciated her intellect and shared similar struggles. Among them was Emmanuel, a soft-spoken engineering student from West Africa. Emmanuel was drawn to Zawadi's humility and resilience, often helping her navigate her new environment. Their friendship blossomed over shared meals and long conversations about their dreams and aspirations. Emmanuel admired Zawadi's ability to see solutions where others saw problems. Slowly, a bond formed between them, one built on mutual respect and shared experiences. As Zawadi and Emmanuel grew closer, their friendship deepened into love. Emmanuel encouraged Zawadi to see herself through his eyes, brilliant, beautiful, and capable of achieving anything. With his support, Zawadi gained confidence and began presenting her innovative ideas at university forums. One day, Emmanuel surprised Zawadi with a proposal under a blooming cherry blossom tree on campus after their final year examination. Zawadi, you've shown me what strength and kindness look like. Will you allow me to walk this journey of life with you? Tears streaming down her face, Zawadi nodded. Yes, Emmanuel. Together, we can achieve anything. Back in the village, the news of Zawadi's success spread. Villagers praised her in front of Mama Amina, who began to see her adopted daughter in a new light. Baba Kofi urged Mama Amina to write to Zawadi, but she hesitated, unsure how to mend their strained relationship. Meanwhile, Jabari's envy grew, though deep down, he missed his sister. After 3 years, Zawadi returned to the village after her graduation. She had transformed into a confident young woman. The villagers greeted her like a hero. Mama Amina embraced her tightly, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry for everything, Zawadi, she whispered. Zawadi smiled through her tears. I never stopped loving you, Mama. Jabari approached hesitantly, handing her a letter. I wrote this for you. As Zawadi read his heartfelt words, she felt a warmth she had yearned for all her life. During her stay, Zawadi reconnected with her family. She and Jabari shared laughter and stories, while Mama Amina supported her dreams wholeheartedly. Zawadi's journey inspired the villagers, who began to see education as a path to brighter futures. Years passed, and Zawadi's impact in her village extended far beyond what anyone could have imagined. The fields once barren from outdated farming practices now yielded abundant harvests, thanks to the sustainable methods she introduced. Zawadi's efforts didn't go unnoticed beyond her village. Government officials, philanthropists, and international organizations took interest in her work. She was invited to speak at global conferences, sharing her journey from an abandoned child to a community leader. Each speech she gave emphasized the power of education, resilience, and the importance of empowering women. Despite her success, Zawadi never lost sight of her roots. She would spend her evenings sitting by the fire with Mama Amina, who had grown frail with age but remained sharp-witted. They often reminisced about the old days, their bond stronger than ever. Mama Amina's once hardened heart was now full of gratitude and pride. I was blind, Zawadi, she admitted one evening as they watched the sunset. Blind to the gift you were to this family. Forgive me for all the years I didn't see you. Zawadi held her mother's hand tightly. You taught me strength in your own way, Mama. And now, we're here together, making things right. Jabari, who had matured into a thoughtful and responsible man, worked closely with Zawadi and Emmanuel. He found his calling in mentoring young boys, teaching them the values of respect, hard work, and kindness. Through his efforts, he began to heal from the insecurities that had once driven a wedge between him and his sister. One day, as Zawadi walked through the village, she noticed a young girl sitting under a tree, scribbling in a notebook. The girl reminded her of herself, curious, determined, and full of untapped potential. Zawadi approached her and asked, "What are you writing?" The girl looked up, her eyes wide with admiration. "Stories," she replied shyly. "I want to be like you one day." Zawadi knelt beside her, a warm smile spreading across her face. "Then promise me you'll keep dreaming and working hard. The world needs your voice." This encounter sparked an idea. Zawadi decided to establish a mentorship program for young girls, focusing on education, leadership, and creative expression. She named it Zawadi's Circle, a homage to the journey that had brought her full circle. The program quickly gained traction, with dozens of girls enrolling and finding their own paths to greatness. The school she and Emmanuel built became a beacon of hope, attracting teachers from neighboring towns who were eager to contribute to the education of the next generation. As the years rolled on, Zawadi and Emmanuel's love remained steadfast. They raised a family, instilling in their children the values of humility, perseverance, and service to others. Their home became a sanctuary of laughter, learning, and love, a stark contrast to the silence and neglect Zawadi had once endured. In her twilight years, Zawadi sat down to write her memoirs, chronicling her extraordinary journey. The book, titled Gift of the Savannah, became a bestseller, touching hearts around the world. It was translated into multiple languages and used as a teaching tool in schools. When Zawadi finally passed away, the entire village mourned her loss but celebrated her life. A statue was erected in her honor at the village square, depicting her holding a book in one hand and a seedling in the other, a symbol of the knowledge and growth she had brought to her community. Her legacy lived on through the countless lives she had touched. Zawadi's story became a testament to the idea that greatness is not determined by where you start, but by the courage, determination, and love you carry along the way. And so, the name Zawadi, once just a word for gift, became a legend, embodying hope, resilience, and the boundless potential of the human spirit.